Hello, my name is Bryan Cranst. Gloriously haired man, indie game developer, video game lover, and developer of the upcoming indie game, TerraTech. As an intelligent and learned man, I've spent many a year researching video games, discovering what makes them tick and championing them for how great they can be. And yet some of the most interesting moments of my life have come from the story behind the games. And these fascinating facts will not only entertain you, but educate you as well. Welcome to Incredible Facts with Bryan Cranst. Facts can be big and heavy, but they can also be light as a feather, much like the feathers you find in Assassin's Creed. So here's 4 incredible facts about Ubisoft's super franchise that are sure to blow your mind, and I encourage you to share them with your friends and your loved ones. Number 1. Assassin's Creed was originally Assassin, Creed. The Assassin's Creed we know today was not what was first intended. Entitled Assassin, Creed, Ubisoft's plan was to create a run of games that featured iconic figures as would-be assassins. The first would be centered around Fame actor Carl Weathers and his role as Apollo Creed. The boxer would be tasked with gunning down famous figures from history, quipping along the way. When the deal fell through, however, and Weathers told them to kiss his ass, the French studio realized creating an original character would keep the powers in their hands. It also put an end to the future sequel, Assassin, Lundgren. Number 2. Ezio was first meant to be from Hull, but playtesters decided that Hull was a piece of shit. Have you been to Hull? It's shit. It's not Hull's fault. Far from it. But think about the setting from a developer's perspective, as if you were me, Bryan Cranst, developer of upcoming indie game TerraTech. If you're trying to convince your audience that they're in control of a murderous assassin, then their backstory needs to be chilling. It needs to be terrifying. It needs to be dark. Where better then than to say this man came from Hull? Assassin's Creed was prototyped around the idea that Ezio was friends with William Wilberforce, a famous British politician from Hull, with Wilberforce's house serving as the game's central hub. Not content with a story as dull as social reform in a place where dreams go to die, Ubisoft looked to Italy, where they could include real historical figures and cool gadgets and flying things. Number 3. The Animus was originally a comical mouse companion. The Animus is as synonymous with Assassin's Creed as anything the series has to offer. But it wasn't always going to be a piece of machinery. At one time, the Animus was in fact Annie Mouse, a comical cartoon character who had the power to send his friends back in time. The thinking was such a character would be a favorite among young children, the game's target audience. When Annie Mouse became Animus, however, Ubisoft felt the tone had shifted significantly, prompting the decision to rework the entire game to suit a more mature crowd. Number 4. Assassin's Creed was developed to cash in on the success of TV show Lost. Do you remember Lost? It was a nonsensical and overrated show that ran from the years 2004 to 2010. As the series hit its peak in around 2007, Ubisoft saw an opportunity to capitalize on it, prompting them to create the character Desmond Miles, one of the centerpieces of Assassin's Creed. Did you ever wonder why he was called Desmond, like I did, Bryan Cranst, indie developer? After all, no one is called Desmond. It's because he was designed as a crossover with popular Lost character Desmond Whom. Even Ubisoft couldn't weave such nonsense into a coherent storyline, and plans were dropped. They were eventually shoehorned into the official Lost video game, but thankfully nobody noticed. So there you have it, friends, 4 incredible facts about Assassin's Creed. Please join me next week as I challenge game designer Lufa Littlewood and ask the question, how many polygons does it take to create a Peter Molyneux NPC? It's time I made like a speed tree middleware and leave. Cranst out.